think if we spent £1 million on marketing, we'd get £5.6 million back in sales.
Yeah.
So what's better for me as a business person, spending £1 million on buying a new business or spending £1 million on marketing? £1 million on marketing is better, but I've got to be able to service it. I'd like to become one of the biggest accountants in Essex. We probably are, but I'd like to become the biggest.
Yeah. Achievable.
Really achievable.
Yeah.
Is that really what I want? I don't know. It might change, mightn't it? I mean, it's just a journey. As long as I'm enjoying it, I'll do it. As long as my team are enjoying it, I'll promote it and go as hard as I can to achieve it. Time does kill deals. People get less interested in the deal.
Yeah.
People start to worry about, is it going to complete? Is it the right deal? You get sort of buyer anxiety, you get seller anxiety, and it typically falls apart. And I've always believed in working to live or live to work. I've always been like, I want to work to live. Like, I want to have the best life. I want to go on lots of holidays. To me, that's important. Holidays are a big thing to me because I know I never really went abroad. So to me, like taking my children abroad is like a big thing that I want to do. I want them to see the world. There's a lot of the opportunities that I'm looking at the moment. I'm trying to buy them and I'm trying to give my key players a shareholding when we acquire them because I want my team to have the same opportunity that I got from Colin.
John Holliday, welcome to Driven Podcast. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Good,
Thank you
good,
for coming on.
Good.
So we always start by asking the guest to introduce himself. So people that don't know you, who are you? What do you do?
So I am John Holliday. I own a company called Pocknalls. We are a firm of chartered accountants. Probably got about 5,000 clients at the moment. Everything from startups to multi-million pound businesses. And I've got a few other businesses as well that I'm part of, but main trade's really chartered accountants.
Okay, cool. And this show's called Driven. So what does being driven mean to you personally?
I guess for me, driven probably means being relentless, getting an end position and doing everything to get to that end position or to get as close as possible to the end position, the end goal.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, I was reading a book this morning, I don't know if you've read it, The Gap and the Gain.
Yeah, good book.
And it's pretty similar to that really, is the end goal is, you're always chasing it, but is it always realistic and how do you measure up against it?
And does the end goal stay the same? Because as you get closer, it probably changes. So yeah, I think probably truly driven people, that's probably what happens. The goal just keeps changing and the game gets bigger.
100%. But what's driving you right now?
Don't know. What personally at the minute?
Personally, yeah.
It's got to be something. There's something around recognition. So that's a childhood issue probably. So I've got something around recognition. I work with a lot of coaches. I do a lot of development. Yeah. I know that I have an issue around recognition. There's probably something about achieving something that I didn't think was possible. I didn't do very well at school. I want to achieve something more than I ever thought was possible. Potentially I already have done that, but it's got bigger. Yeah. So it's now...
So the goal's moving.
It's getting bigger. And probably the other thing is probably making my children proud and some other people proud. Proud's a bad word for me, actually. I shouldn't say proud. Okay. Sets me off a bit.
Interesting. So we do always start this podcast by going back a little bit. So I know when you was young, you played a lot of football. And
yeah. Still play football now.
Do you?
Yeah, vets team.
Oh, okay. Didn't know
Old boy now. But you still love it. It's probably the one time... Football and skiing are probably the two things that if I go and do them, the world turns off. Yeah. And I'm actually really content.
Is that the only two things you find you're able to switch off?
Properly. Skiing, I try and go as fast as possible, so I think I could die at any minute. And football, I just get lost in the moment. I love it.
Yeah. So what was that like as a kid? What was the goal? What was the aspiration?
I don't know, really. School I wasn't great at. I struggled at school. I think I was class clown. I always wanted to be liked, have a big thing about wanting to be likeable, wanting to have people like me, which is weird because I probably haven't got lots of friends, but I always wanted to be the person who everyone liked. Probably wasn't the person who everyone liked because I was the class clown and probably everyone didn't really like me. So I think at school it was very much about I wanted to be liked, I wanted to do whatever it was to make people like me, which wasn't schoolwork. So then I didn't get very good grades. And then I've probably gone on a bit of a journey, really, to try and remake myself and make myself achieve something, really, from not a very good base.
Did you always feel quite entrepreneurial as a kid, or did that come later on?
Probably always a bit money obsessed. So I'd always, well, don't say money obsessed, money conscious. I always knew that if I took that and sold it for that, I'd make a profit. I always knew what my profit was, and that was very young. So, and I've always worked. I worked since the age of 11 or so, 10, paper round. Then I worked in the village shop. Again, I loved the village shop. I thought it taught me a lot about customer service, which even now, customer service is like one of my big things. And my team, I'm always harping on about customer service and how we need to improve it, make it the best possible customer service. And I think that comes from my days in the village shop, which is a bit weird. I used to like it when people came in and I knew what paper they had, so I already had it ready for them.
Yeah, it was funny because I was the same really. When I was 17, 18, worked in the co-op, and it was opposite a main train station, Shenfield. So you'd always see the same people, and you try and remember what they got and what their sort of routines were like.
I think that's, so the day I was in the queue at the train station for a coffee and I had a cappuccino or whatever it was, the person behind me, the lady said to him, "Oh, do you want a tea today?" He said, "Yes, please." She goes, "One sugar?" He went, "Yeah." And I thought, that's so good.
Yeah.
Like, well, how good's that?
Makes
How many
you feel
people
good.
does she serve? And he must feel like $1 million at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, one of the things for us when we got our new office was we put a drinks menu in reception. The amount of people that come in and go, "Oh my God, you're accountants with a drinks menu. This is revolutionary." And I'm like, well, it says Coca-Cola, water, fizzy water. I think we have got Prosecco on there, but if people ask for it, we're in trouble. But yeah, it's you know, it's not really revolutionary, but the perceived value is huge.
That just shows really, doesn't it, that how little of the basics a lot of businesses do.
And there's such good, for me, perceived value, soft touches are what businesses should do more of, because it's what means that when you mess something up, that client doesn't leave you. When something small goes wrong, that client says, "Yeah, but they're so great to us in so many other levels," that so perceived value to me is huge. And I always say that to my team: what's the perceived value of this? How do we make this better? And it's not about them leaving you as such, it's about giving the best possible service. But then when things do go wrong, it's not as big, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. So when you was working in that village shop, did that come from inside, or was that, you know, the shopkeeper telling you how you should be, or?
I think it came from my underlying thing of wanting to be liked. Like I wanted people to come in and be like, "John's the best shopkeeper," or the best shop till boy, whatever you want to call it. I like that shop. I think it taught me a lot. It probably taught me some other things as well. So yeah, I mean, there were definitely parts in there where I was like, I could see where the shop was making its good profits and things like that. And I was like, well, I understood how they were making more profit than they should be out of certain items. And I was like, it's good. So yeah, I enjoyed the shop. I think it taught me a lot.
Yeah. Where do you think that feeling of wanting to be liked come from?
I think probably being bullied at school.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, probably just being bullied at school. I think I was just desperate to blend in and not stand out and not be the person that got beaten up or picked on.
Okay.
But
So then you, as you grew up, you decided you wanted to be an accountant.
I didn't really want to be an accountant.
Okay.
I must have mentioned it at some point at school though, because I was always quite strong at maths and I've always been a good problem solver. So to me, that was two things that I was good at. I never really wanted to be an accountant, I remember, but my mum always said to me, the school asked me to come back and do a talk on accountancy. This is like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever it was. And mum said to me, make sure she said, make sure you take I've got an old Porsche. She said, make sure you take your old Porsche in because your school teacher said that you'd never get a Porsche. And so I was like, as an accountant, and I did. So she was like, take that in. So yeah, that was something that my mum remembered, but I never remember that story. So
Was that teacher still there?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what teacher it was, but my mum was quite annoyed that they'd sort of suppressed my drive because I wasn't particularly... I was driven, but I was driven for things I wanted to achieve. I wasn't driven for the fact of that I wanted to go on and get this career. I wanted to be an accountant. And I think my mum was annoyed that the teacher had suppressed my drive to actually do something sensible, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know when I wanted to be an accountant. I don't think I ever did want to be an accountant.
How did you fall into it then? What was the process?
Couldn't get any other job.
Okay.
So I was just, I came to London. I wanted to work in London, probably for partying, probably for trying to find girls and fun, probably, to be honest. I wanted to come to London, and everyone in London was like, not interested, your grades aren't good. They weren't good. I think I got a B in PE, an E in IT or something.
Okay.
That was my grades, and no one really wanted me. And then when I went to this place in Woodham, which I ended up buying, that company, he said no one else has applied, so it's a good chance you'll get the job as an accounts apprentice. So that was the kick-off for accountancy, really.
Okay. It's quite funny, and really, so you was sort of like their only option, but
Yeah.
ended up taking over the business.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that wasn't seen at that point, but yeah, that was what happened. I think I always knew that when, like, everything I've done, I've never been happy with. I've always wanted to not get to the top, but I've always wanted to get to the top in everything I've done. So I've never really been happy. I wouldn't have been happy being an employee for my whole life. That wouldn't have suited me. And to be fair, I'm probably not a very good employee.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't think most business people are unemployable, entrepreneurial people.
I think I'm very I think I'm very unemployable, which I think most people are, as you say, in that ilk.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, and exactly the same. And so, how did you then go from, what did you say, accounts apprentice?
Yeah, accounts apprentice. So I did my exams, which took a long time. Failed quite a few of them. Didn't really have the drive to do them, to be honest. A bit like school, I was still in the school mode, really, where I was thinking, like, why am I bothering with these exams? I don't see the purpose. And something clicked, and I think it was he offered me financial reward to pass the exams. He said, I asked for a pay rise. He said, pass your exams, I'll give you a pay rise. And I think that was probably the click. And all of a sudden, it was sort of like he said, I'll give you, I can't remember exactly, but I'll give you £500 a paper or whatever it was. So I was like, right, sit 4 papers a year, sit 8 papers a year, sit as many papers as I can and just get through them. And that was what I started doing. So once you apply yourself to something, normally it happens, doesn't it? Yeah. So I just started applying myself to the fact that I needed to pass these exams. So I passed them, and then not long after that, he said, do you want to buy in? So that was the option. I mean, he was of an age, Colin, his name was, my business partner, he was of an age where he needed to retire. And he just said, do you want to buy in? And I said, yes. It was a very different business to what it is today. Yeah. When I bought in. And yeah, I've got to be a bit careful because I'm conscious I've gone on other podcasts and apparently I've come across negative to Colin, and that's not at all what I think Colin gave me a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. I think I was naive. I didn't do any due diligence on the buy-in. And naive as in, I think Colin was naive as well. I think we were both naive on the deal. When we first bought it, there were definitely cash flow problems. Mm-hmm. The company didn't really generate enough money to cover the staff costs. We had a bad debt. That was no one's fault. We just had a company go bust on us straight away. Like, there were all these things that happened in the first 12. We had to let one of our key members go, who I'd worked with for a long time, and they really didn't like me on that part.
So because it all happened at once.
All happened at once, and I was the new person, and I was the person saying we need to make some cuts here. Yeah. Where I think Colin was probably in a position where he could potentially not take much money out of the business and could basically let it coast for a while and keep that person employed and going, and I couldn't. I wasn't in a position I could do that. So it was a tricky kickoff to the world of owning a business.
Yes, tough start. And so when Colin asked you to buy in, what was your position like? Has it been through money you saved up? Did you have to borrow money to put in?
So Colin's opportunity was massive, and it was, and I'll always be forever grateful. And I still speak to Colin now, like, he lives miles away, but I speak to him regularly. He kind of is like a family member to me. Right. I've worked with him for over 20 years, trust him implicitly. Mm-hmm. So when we first did it, he said, I'll lend you all the money. So he lent me all the money. It was on a deferred payment. Paid him it over 4 years. I think I bought 15% to start with. So it's a very small percentage to kick it off, just to see how it went. And then I think I bought another 15% of it, and I bought the building, so the bank would give us some finance on the building at that point. Mm-hmm. And Colin gave me the deposit for the building. So again, he gave me a loan between us. Yeah. So I was massively fortunate that he was willing to trust me and invest in me for that. So yeah, I had a big helping hand. Okay. And
so, as you've gone on and evolved and the business has grown, you've ended up buying, I think, is it 5 or 6 accountancy practices yourself?
I don't really know how many. Yeah, it would be about that. I don't know how many it is at the minute. It's going to be around that number at the minute.
But do you think the way that you structured that first deal sort of shaped your thinking about how you can structure deals moving forward?
I think it did. I think the way I'm structuring deals now is different. So buying smaller businesses in the accounting sector, the average accountancy firm's about 350,000 turnover. If you're buying at that level, you can typically do an earn out, you can typically do a deferred payments, you can do all of that part. I think when you start going into the million plus acquisitions, which is what I'm trying to acquire now, you're doing money up front and you're doing less on deferred, and there's parts to it that are slightly different. So typically you're using bank finance to do the initial. Then you're trying to use the future profits to do the deferred. So, yeah, I think my deal structure's changed a bit for me personally.
But you've gone through a journey of doing those style deals to get to this point now, haven't you?
Yeah, and I would still do those deals. Like there's still deals like that at the minute that I've got going on that I want to do more of for the smaller ones, but I would love to do a bigger one as well.
Yeah. And was that always your sort of preferred method of growth, or did a few opportunities kind of land on your lap?
I think my preferred method of growth is marketing. So I still think I prefer marketing. I prefer growing my team. I prefer growing my scaling what we've already got. I think acquisitions for me in accountancy hopefully they give us a new geographic location. So typically when we're buying, so the thing that accountants are bad at is they're typically bad at marketing. That is typically what accountants do not do any part of. Where we're quite strong is that we've got a marketing team. We've got an in-house marketing team. We invest a lot of money. We invest over 6 figures in advertising every single year. Now, accountants think that's bonkers, but it's not, because, I mean, I said to you prior to this, I think if we spent £1 million on marketing, we'd get £5.6 million back in sales. That 5.6 million would be with us as a firm for 7 years, plus that's our average client life cycle. They'd refer probably about 1.2 clients, so we'd get 1.2 referrals out of them, and we'd probably be making about 30% net profit off of it. So what's better for me as a business person, spending £1 million on buying a new business or spending £1 million on marketing? £1 million on marketing is better, but I've got to be able to service it.
100%.
And that's the tricky part.
What you just said then is really interesting, because would you describe yourself as an accountant or a business owner? Or an entrepreneur?
I think now I'm a business owner. So I think that I don't really know when the switch over changed. I'm now a business owner. I like accounts. I employ great accountants. I definitely have accountants in my team that are miles better than me at accounts. They're miles better than me at tax. I don't know if they're as good at presenting it to the clients as what potentially I am. Some of them are. But again, it depends on the client, doesn't it? It depends what the client wants. But to me, now I'm a business owner. So I'm looking at strategic decisions to grow my business. Acquisitions for me are great if we can get a new geographical location that we can put our AdWords on, or we can get new team, or we can get team that do a service that we don't offer, or specialise in a service that we're a little bit weak in. Like, there's lots of good things to look for in an acquisition, but it isn't necessarily now just revenue growth. Like, to me, that's marketing.
Which, so you're looking for strategic growth rather than just general revenue growth.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'm looking at, which I should say, one of the other things I'm looking at is a lot of the opportunities that I'm looking at the moment, I'm trying to buy them, and I'm trying to give my key players a shareholding when we acquire them, because I want my team to have the same opportunity that I got from Colin. Like the ones who want it. Like, I don't want people to be leaving us because they haven't got opportunities to grow themselves. They want to go and become equity partners somewhere, and we're saying, oh no, we've got our equity partners, that's you done. So I'd rather go and buy something, and then I'm not giving away anything. I'm just acquiring something else, and I'm saying, well, look, we'll go and buy this. You can have that percentage. I'm having that percentage. I'll back it. We'll do it together. You run it. We do it together. I've done quite a few of those deals recently.
Okay. And so then your team, are fully bought into what you're doing then, aren't they?
Some have. I mean, look, I think they've all bought into the idea, the concept. Some people don't want that, and I totally respect that as well. Some people don't want that life. So that's cool, isn't it? Just
100%.
Go to work, do your job, and do it as best your ability, enjoy it, and go home. Like, I get that. That's what some people want.
I think as entrepreneurs, you don't want everyone to be entrepreneurs.
You can't have everyone. I say this all the time. Imagine a team of 11 Cristiano Ronaldos. It'd be a disaster. You need a Roy Keane. You need someone in the middle who's not really that good, but is good at inspiring the people, and also can, punch someone in the nose when you need them to punch them in the nose. Like, you need these different players that have got different strengths. You can't have all the same people. And I think we've got that. in my team. I think we have got that. Like, I think I've got people that if we need to go and be geeks and quote chapter and verse on case law, I've got people that can do that. If we've got people that want to talk like really quickly and entrepreneurial, I can go and do that. Like we've got different strengths and we just need to play to them.
Yeah, yeah. So you can kind of bend that to who your client is and what you're dealing with. So, you know, just what you touched on a minute ago about the sales and the marketing and how you know the numbers and even what your average referral is from clients. So that's hence why I asked the question about, do you think you're more of an entrepreneur now than an accountant? But where has that bit come from? Because obviously, I know you said you was quite entrepreneurial, there was always something in you, and you've gone from going into accountants to owning it, but you've really leveled up.
Skilled yourself, yeah.
Scaled. Where's
that come from? The need. Like, I needed sales. I had a business that wasn't making money and I couldn't afford to pay bills. It makes you learn pretty fast when you can't afford to pay people. I tried loads of different things and I measured them all. Everything we do, we measured. Like I can't remember what book it was, but I read a book a long time ago that was like, if you can't measure it, don't do it. And I kind of agree with it. So we used to have we still got them now. We've got VoIP numbers that tell us that you've rang this number, which means you've read that leaflet or you've read that marketing letter or you've landed on that landing page. We spend 20 grand a year on software that tracks what clicks you've had on our website and where you've come through. It's probably pointless, but it's not pointless when you want to know what spend's working and what's not. And we also want to know which ones of our accountants are good at selling, which ones need more training, which ones need help. So at the minute we're looking at AI software. We're actually using AI software effectively to say how well our sales team are doing. Okay. Which is really, really hard because accountants don't like sales, and I'm trying to train accountants to do sales.
Yeah, it's a different skill set, really, different personality.
It is. But sales shouldn't be tricky. Sales is just solving a problem. And once you've solved a problem, the sale will happen. But typically what accountants do is they just quote the price. They don't actually find out what the actual underlying problem is, where you're trying to go, how you're trying to get there, and what's stopping you getting there. If you ask those questions, get the answer, and then give your price, the sale's done.
That was going to be something I was going to ask later on, but seeing as you've touched on AI, how do you feel that that's impacting accountancy?
I think it will have a really big impact on accountancy. I think it will be slow, but not AI. I think it will be slow to hit the accountancy market in the smaller accountancy firms. The big accountancy firms are like much bigger than us. They're spending lots of money on it, all over the papers at the minute. The big accountancy firms are releasing a lot of people out of their team.
Right. Okay.
And I suspect it's because they've got the AI undertaking a lot of the work that they've already invested in it, haven't they? They've already got all the AI and the tech stack that's doing it all. I think the smaller accountants will be very slow to embrace it.
Yeah, I agree, because of what we touched on earlier, that they are very old school, aren't they?
They're risk adverse. Accountants are trained to be risk adverse. They're trained to look backwards. They're not trained to look forwards. Everything an accountant does is 9 months in the past, or whatever it is. They're not looking 5 years in the future. And that's one of the most, not frustrating, that's one of the things I struggle with my team. It's like I am 95% future focused, 5% present, and very little in the past. All of them are 95 past, 5% present, and 0 in the future. I keep saying to them, guys, we've got to take this seriously. AI is coming. Like we're probably a mid-tier firm. That's what we are. We're a mid-tier firm, probably. So we're probably top 1% on size of accountancy firms. Might even be top 0.5%. The big boys are very big.
Yeah.
Most accountants are 350 grand. We're sort of a few million, 3-4 million or whatever we are at the minute. So we're sort of not in the top 100, but we're not a million miles off of it. And we'll be there soon. But the bit for me is AI is going to change the accountant's job. It's definitely going to change it. I think bookkeeping will be a thing, not a thing of the past, but I think it will change how bookkeeping is going to be done. I think payroll will be robot run. You won't have people running payroll anymore. Once that's done, the accounts, they'll be able to produce as well very quickly. They'll be able to put all the notes in. It'll be very, very good. The bit that I think the robot will struggle with, or the AI will struggle with, I think it will struggle with the strategic advice. Mm-hmm. And you've also got to convince the end user to believe the strategic advice.
Yeah, well, that's more of a personable thing, isn't it, rather than a transactional thing?
When you think of the tills in supermarkets, like how long have we had those self-checkout tills in?
In a while now, 10 years or so.
I'd guess 10 years. But why have they still got normal tills?
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't quite gone to how... I mean, I appreciate they're phasing it out, and now when you go into our local Tesco's, I think there's more self-checkout than there is human tills. I still quite like a human till. Quite often I'll go get my sandwich and I'll queue up for the human till. Because actually I quite like the hello.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I do, really, because I chat to people all day. But sometimes I just think I just want a hello as I get my chicken salad sandwich. And I walk out thinking, well, that was good. What a lovely sandwich.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen in accountancy. You're going to need the hellos. You're still going to need that human touch. And I think the other thing that, I mean, I know, you know, we're part of the same networking groups and things like that, but for me, we're very entrepreneurial people. In the entrepreneurial space, AI is like, oh my God, it's going to take over the world. It's going to take over the world. But we're mixing with people who...
Outside of that group, it's probably not as...
My mum and dad don't know what AI is. Well, they probably do, but they don't know...
What level it is.
They're not looking at it. They don't really care. Like, they just want to go to the petrol station, put their fuel in, go in and say hello to the person, pay the money, buy a bag of crisps and walk out and get back in their car. They're not going to be talking to the robot that's going to, you know...
Yeah, well, we're all thinking about how it's going to change our business and what the next 5-10 years looks like. So, and that's when you're hearing about it all the time, aren't you? Because you're in them circles.
But we've got to convince all those... Well, sorry, not we. AI has got to convince all those people before it's really a massive problem. So I think it is going to be a problem. I think it's a 5-10 year problem for accountancy. Hopefully, we will see.
Yeah. But what are you doing to adapt your business to deal with the AI changes?
So one, we're using AI. So we're trying to build an AI service platform at the minute, which will be great if we get it to happen. So we're trying to build an AI service platform, but that is potentially a little bit top secret because I don't want to give away all my ideas. But the whole idea is that basically it will give us so much data to be able to present all our clients. So whenever you ask us a question, we'll be able to answer it in real time, but we'll answer it as a human in real time.
But you have the data from all of your other clients.
And it's all completely on our server in a whatever it's called, a honeycomb data, whatever it is, I don't know. They all keep talking to me in funny language and I'm like, yeah, that's good. Just make it work. Don't get me sued. That's perfect. But yeah, so they'll have it in a secure database. It won't be in the public domain. We'll be able to offer this service to our clients. I want it that when you say to me, what did I spend on my telephone, for example, last year, we can tell you exactly what it is and we can tell you the last 4 years and I can tell it to you in seconds.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do that in a meeting. And you would then think, God, John's clever.
Yeah, he's good.
That's what I want. I want the best customer service accountancy firm. That's what I want.
But I think this is where people need to really understand AI. It's not about getting rid of all the staff and having no humans involved. It's about using the tech to offer the best service and still have that human element. So like you're saying, you're in that meeting, you're still delivering that information.
That's what you got to do. If you're not doing that, ChatGPT is going to replace you. Because it is. At the minute, it's not doing it with a smile. Neither am I with a smile on my face. But it's not doing it with a smile on its face. It's not doing it in a human way. People want that because they'll trust John, you, whoever it is, more than they will the computer. The computer's a faceless thing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, annoyingly, I saw some software the other day for accountancy and I stupidly went into one of my teams and I said, guys, I've seen this software in a few months, you're going to be, a few years, you're going to be redundant. And that's not apparently what you say. I got very told off for that. I didn't mean it like that. Like, no one's getting made redundant. We're going to change. And I said to them, we need to change the way that we're offering this service so that we are ahead of this. So we're just changing it. We're making it now. We're doing more soft touches, more perceived value. So that once we've done that, we're not competing with the AI. We're using the AI to help us completely take away. Yeah,
no, I agree. But one of the things that I know you're working on quite a lot is that strategic advice with acquisitions as well, isn't it? And that's more where you want to spend your focus moving forward?
Personally.
Yeah.
So that's not my team. My team want to... I think the thing is the team's got to a size now where we need to advise on everything. We need to keep advising on everything. We need to advise on tax, bookkeeping, payroll, startups, bigger firms. We need to advise audit, all of it. We need to advise on all of it. Personally, I enjoy acquisitions. I think they're fun. I think that there's no rule book. I don't really like rule books. So if there's no rule book, that makes it exciting. Yeah. It's opportunity. I love opportunity. Again, like these are all words for me that in my brain are things that are triggers.
Yeah.
So acquisitions to me feels like it's my home, my personal home. Doesn't mean it's my team's. So my team is still doing a lot of the accounts work.
Okay, no, I understand that. But you've done what is it, circa 200 deals, maybe probably more now.
I'd guess. I don't really know,
Yeah.
but I would guess it's definitely hundreds, but I don't know how many. I enjoy them. I really enjoy the negotiation stage.
Yeah.
I enjoy the sales part of it, like when you're trying to, convince someone that yours is a good offer, or when you're trying to convince someone to pay more for the business you're trying to sell. Like, I enjoy the conversations that go around selling and buying a business. I enjoy the different deals. You always see something different. It's never the same structure. No one ever says, oh yeah, it's X and you pay it then. Like, it's never that. It's always, it's this, it's that. This is, there's a punitive interest if you don't pay it here. There's anti-embarrassment clauses here. There's this. There's always something new. And I'm like, oh, this is quite exciting. Like,
It's that creativity that
it's brilliant.
keeps the fire going.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That to me is something that I feel like I've found something I'm quite passionate about in the accountancy world.
If a client come to you and said, look, John, I want to buy a business, what would your sort of starting advice be for them?
To get the advisors in there as quickly as possible. So for me, I think where buyers go wrong, and I've done this myself personally, and I still do this personally, you're too close to the deal. So sometimes you get
got
quite
the emotional buy-in.
massively emotional. So sometimes you get so desperate to do the deal that you're almost saying, I don't care, whatever, I'm going to get this deal done. I need to get this deal completed. It's my first one, or it's going to do this. I need to get done. Well, I can just sit there and go, this is a stupid deal. Like, like we said earlier about the one I was talking about earlier, I was pre this. Someone was saying it's going to take them 12 years to pay back the initial purchase price. That's a stupid deal. Like, you cannot do that deal. And unless there's something I'm missing here, this is a stupid deal. And when I said it to them, they were like, thank you so much. Like, no one said this. I don't understand why no one said this, but this is a stupid deal. You cannot do it. I think that's where I am quite passionate. I want people to do deals, but I want them to do the right deal.
Yeah,
like, this is a game-changing thing for people. You can't go and spend millions of pounds or hundreds of thousands of pounds on something just on a whim.
Yeah. So you said getting advisors in early, but getting the right advisors as well, because obviously that guy that you're speaking about, no one's told him that information, probably didn't have the right advisors, wasn't speaking to the right people.
Yeah, I think the problem is there's a lot of, purely about acquisitions, but I think there's a lot of courses out there at the moment that promote business acquisitions, and I think they're great, but I really do feel like you need to know the fundamentals of running a business before you go and buy a business. Because if you don't understand how the sales process works, or the marketing process, or the HR process, you don't need to understand it all. Like, I've got an HR person that we employ because I'm rubbish at HR. Like, you need to know the people in your black book that you can call in. And if you're just going to buy something without having all that prior experience, it's a big learning curve, that. And you've got a lot of debt to pay.
Yeah.
Potentially it's in an industry you don't know. That could be a proper bad thing for your life. And sometimes, I was saying to you earlier, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little bit negative, and I don't want to be negative on these deals, but I just want to advise everyone as if it's my mum and dad, as if it's my sister, because at that point I can go to bed at night, and even if I've cocked up, I can say I would have said the same to my sister, I would have said the same to my wife, I would have said the same to whoever it is, and it's not my fault, is it? I've done the best that I can do.
Yeah, no, 100%. But other than come to Pocknells, how do people find the right advisors?
I think you've got to go and chat to lots of people. I think you've got to find someone that you think you trust. I think you've got to find someone that works and talks your language. Like, I personally definitely do people's heads in, so I wouldn't work for everyone. And I get that. I think you've got to work with someone who talks your language. I think you need to go and get tax advice early. That's the other thing. I think people buy things in the wrong way. The amount of deals that we've seen where people have bought a company on deferred consideration and they've bought it in their personal name. And what that means is, it means that, if you've got 200 grand a year deferred consideration, you're personally taking £200,000 in earnings and paying personal tax at 45%, 38 point whatever percent on that before you've even taken any money yourself. And if they buy it for a holding company, zero tax.
Yeah.
So again, like, the tax structure is important at the start.
And that's such a simple thing, isn't it? But
So simple.
Do a lot of people get caught out with that?
Loads. And there's lots of people that come to us with that who've got other businesses, who've got previous business experience, who've taken advice, and they've just missed some really fundamental basics on the structuring of it. So I think the structure is important. I think getting the heads of terms agreed before you go to the solicitors, personally, big believer in that. I think solicitors, as great as they are, they make every deal go a lot slower, and they add a lot of complexity and a lot of questions to the deal.
Yeah.
If you're using brokers, I want to know first. I mean, I said this to you earlier. I want to know straight away, how much money does the seller want for the business? When do they want it paid? And how long are they hanging around afterwards? Like, to me, that's fundamental questions that you need to know if you're buying a business, especially if it's in a sector you don't really know. Like, I can't go and buy a plumbing business and then I don't know anything about plumbing. I don't even know what a spanner is, really. So I would be absolutely rubbish at it. So if I'm going to buy it and the main plumber's going to disappear, it's a bit of a crap business for me to buy.
Yeah.
So to me, you need to be asking these questions, and people are scared to ask those awkward questions. And how can you pay money for something if you can't ask these awkward questions? I want to know if it's got a management team. I want to know if the management team are there. I want to meet them. And again, that's something that people are really, I've had that a lot in accountancy, where people are saying, well, you can't really meet my management team. I'm like, I need to, because I'm
Well,
putting all my trust in them.
The deal doesn't go through, this, which is what I've heard a lot. They don't want to spook the staff and...
Yeah, which I get, but you need to get some way of getting these comfortable with these parts.
Yeah.
The bigger deals, you need a strong management team, or you need to have it in-house. Like, I think I've got a strong management team that I could roll into other companies now if I had to. Hopefully I'm buying strong management teams as well. But
yeah, well, you want both, don't you?
You want both. And I think that's the part. And I feel like I say, I feel like a lot of these courses are very, very good at working out how to get a deal done and how to finance it and how you get asset finance on this. You take the cash out of that, you do the loan here, you do that deferred here. That's all great. But it doesn't really tell you how day one you've completed, how you then run that business.
Yeah, you need that solid experience.
And I personally am a big believer that people should go and do something small before they do something big, because I think you need to almost, get your armbands and learn it before you go and do it, because it's not fun, is it? I mean, even now, for me as an experienced business owner, I've been doing this 20 odd years on my own now. There's days when I look in the mirror and I think, oh God, this is tough. Like, we all have it, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. That goes back to, the word of the name of this podcast. We're driven. So you might have one or two of them days, but the reality is the next day you get up and you're going again. Got to keep going, move forward, or you go backwards, don't you? So for me, I think and I really don't feel comfortable advising people personally. It's just my own ethical view. I really don't feel comfortable advising people when they're very novice to buying businesses and they've never run a business. To me, that's just tricky, because I think, like I said earlier, I think you need to know about sales. Like, to me, if you're going to go into any business, I know that I could grow a plumbing business through sales because I know how to market. I don't know how I'd do the work. That's the bit I'd struggle with, but I would definitely be able to do the sales and the finance side. Operations, I'd be screwed. So if I was buying a plumbing business, I would need to have someone tied in or trusty that I could use for the operations, because I wouldn't have a clue. I'd be out of business in a week. Yeah, but like you say, you understand the core fundamentals and the principles of business. But so going back to, you're advising someone who wants to buy, what does a good deal look like? I know that all deals are different, but what tends to make up a good deal?
A good deal, if it pays back in 2 years, that's a good deal, isn't it?
Well,
18 months, 12 months. I mean, there's lots of good deals. I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to say them without saying them, but we've come across lots of good deals, and quite often it's fold. So if you're buying something that folds into another business, so if you're buying, like for us, for example, we've got a financial advisor firm. So that was a good deal. It was a good deal. We didn't really buy it. We set it up. We put money in. We employed someone, gave them 50%, took 50% stuff. That was a good deal. But it's a good deal because we've already got the market. So we've already got the market. We've already got a big database of people that need financial advisory services. So it's 2 bites of the cherry, isn't it? You've got accountancy and financial advisory. The same for them. It's 2 bites of the cherry. So if I was buying a financial advisor's, I would think, this is good. For me personally now, whenever I buy an accountancy firm, I part own a corporate finance company, I part own a personal financial advisory company, an IFA. I've got an accountancy firm. If I buy another accountancy firm, I've got those other 2 bites of the cherry So I'm probably going to make more money than a normal accountant would out of accountancy firm. Does
And
that
both
make sense?
businesses benefit as well, because
They all
obviously
benefit.
you can sell your IFA services to accountants and vice versa.
And the compound growth's huge. So again, what makes a good deal for me, we're talking about accountancy, if I go and buy another accountancy firm, I'm probably buying it on a fee multiplier, because it's probably not. So basically in accountancy, if your EBITDA is less than $1 million, typically it's on the
Your income.
on the income. So you do a percentage of sales, so typically it'd be 1.2, 1 times, 1.4 times sales.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, so we're above that. So for us, it's an EBITDA multiplier. So if we're buying at 1.2, 1.3 times sales, whatever it is, and we're putting it into an EBITDA multiplier, all of a sudden every deal we're buying, we're probably paying $1 million, but we're getting 2 million.
Yep.
So that's a good deal, because I'm instantly better off. Probably shouldn't say that, but that is a good deal. And then you've got the 2 other bites of the cherry as well. That's a good deal. The deals that aren't good is when you've got a lot of risk, a lot of liability, and a long term to pay them back. So to me, I always want a deal to pay back day one or within 2-3 years max. And there's got to be another strategic reason for it.
Interesting. And what are the mistakes that you see a lot of buyers make? I know you said obviously about the
Tax
corporate structure and
advice is
things
one,
like that.
I mean, that's a big one. DD, so due diligence, I think you've got to trust the people you're buying from. Like, I personally am a big believer in going out for lots of dinners, for meeting them multiple times, ideally not meeting them with the sales agent, which is tricky sometimes. I'd also always try and get their number or their contact as quickly as possible. So I had one recently that I met for a sales agent. I thought I'm giving away my tricks here, which is probably not going to be good. Met him for a sales agent, and straight away added him on LinkedIn, sent him a little message the second I left. Thanks, nice to meet you. Here's my mobile number. If you want to give us blah, 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 give me a call. I'd love to introduce you to my team. I'd love to show you my offices. Got a text back with their mobile number. I'm like, well, this is great. I've cut the agent out now, which you're not meant to do, but I'm not doing anything around the back door. I'm just building rapport.
Yeah.
So then I can say to them, oh, do you want to meet and go for dinner? The agent doesn't know about it then, do they? So to me, you've got to build that rapport. You've got to trust that person. You've got to like. I'm a big believer in you've got to like them as well.
Yeah,
but
100%.
a lot of people would say you haven't, but I believe you have. And I think that's important for the seller as well. If they want to, most people, they spent 20, 30 years building this business up. They don't want to leave it to some idiot that's going to strip it and flip it or whatever it is. Like, they want someone who passionately believes in what they're doing. So to me, I think the rapport is important.
100%. And is there a certain amount of time that you dedicate to building that rapport, or is it as long as is needed?
So I'm talking purely accountancy acquisitions here. I don't think you can spend enough time to building that rapport, because to me, like, we've had lots of deals that haven't happened, but I think they've learned a lot from going from dinner. Like, they've learned our systems, they've learned our processes. I've shared stuff, they've shared stuff, I've learned stuff. Like, it's just sharing, isn't it?
Yep.
Probably makes both your businesses better. For me, I think that's important. And I know that other successful buyers that we act for do a lot of rapport building. I want, when we buy something, to be friends. I want to pay the person off and still be friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be going into something thinking I'm going to screw them over. That's not. It's just going to get found out and someone's going to be unhappy. You don't want that.
Yeah, well, it goes against your moral compass, but also affects your credibility as well, doesn't it?
I believe so. I mean, some people would say not, wouldn't they? But I personally believe I want to go to bed at night. I want to go to bed conscious that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm exactly the same.
So for me, that's an important part. But some people wouldn't. Some people are more sharky. They just want to get the deal done. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, biggest mistakes, I think, probably a lot of it, I would say one of the biggest mistakes everyone makes is time. That's one that really irritates me, actually. When people slow the deal down.
Mm-hmm. And are you talking solicitors here, or are you talking?
Probably anyone in part of the deal. Could be the seller, it could be the buyer, it could be the sales agent, it could be the solicitors, it could be the accountants. Somewhere in the deal it slows down, and I think it's important when that happens that whoever it is instigates an all parties call.
Okay.
So you get everyone around the table as quickly as possible, and you say, like, what is going on? Let's get this going. What's the problem here? Because to me, time does kill deals. People get less interested in the deal.
Yeah.
People start to worry about, is it going to complete? Is it the right deal? You get sort of buyer anxiety, you get seller anxiety, and then it typically falls apart.
How do you keep the momentum going in a deal?
I think you've got to keep regular, like weekly meetings, or at least weekly emails or something, just saying this is where we are, this is what we've done this week. Like, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't have that, it will fall apart.
Okay, it's interesting. Good tips. You know, they're quite simple tips, but obviously you've developed a lot of experience over the years of.
I think communication is vital in all parts of it. I mean, the reality is, in anything like this, it's not really like to me, a business purchase isn't like a house purchase, because I always think of a house purchase, you've got lots of different surveyors going in.
Yeah.
So with a house purchase, you might have a structural surveyor going in. You definitely probably got a mortgage valuer going in saying, yeah, it's worth that amount of money. That gives you comfort, doesn't it, as a buyer?
Yep.
I mean, it probably makes a seller nervous, but it gives you comfort. It probably gives the seller some comfort as well, from the point of view of they sold it for the right value. You don't have that with these deals. So to me, all the way through this, you've got a nervous seller, you've got a nervous buyer. There's probably 20 years worth of skeletons that no one really knows what. So I don't know what skeletons are in my own business, if I'm being totally honest. I couldn't hand on heart say, oh, you want to buy my business? These are the 10 things that I know I've done wrong. I couldn't tell you that today. But I bet there's something in there that's wrong. If you look, I bet there's something wrong in all the businesses. It's just communication's key, isn't it? Trust, yeah.
So you touched on, then you go for a lot of dinners, and I know you're out for dinner quite a lot with different business owners, and you're still working with clients directly a lot, and you're in a lot of meetings. How do you balance your time? How do you manage your time? You're a busy guy.
Family,
just generally, yeah. Like,
probably not as well as I should. So, yeah, probably short answer is probably not as well as I should. I probably enjoy business a lot more than some other parts that I should enjoy more. I think it's hard because a lot of the dinners I'm going for are not actually for me, they're for clients. So some of the, and I say dinners, meetings, they're not really dinners, they're meetings. And it's not necessarily always at dinner time, it could be any time in the day. But I think I end up in a lot of meetings for clients, I end up in a lot of meetings for myself, and I probably should prioritise family and young children more than I do. Hopefully I will one day.
Yeah, I think there's a common theme between business owners and people who are driven.
Yeah, it's hard. Like when I'm with my children, I do think I'm quite good.
Yeah.
But I'm probably only good for about 30 minutes and then I'm off trying to do something else again. And normally when I'm with my children, I try and have big days out. So if ever, you know, whatever happens, I don't really want to sit down and watch Bluey or Peppa Pig or whatever it is. Like I'd rather go out and have a day out at the zoo, or have a day out here or a day out there. And I've always believed in, I can't remember, it's working to live or live to work. I've always been like, I want to work to live. Like I want to have the best life. I want to go on lots of holidays. And I often work on holiday, but I want to go on them. And to me, that's important. Holidays are a big thing to me because I think we did have them as a child. You know how you like warp your childhood? I've warped my childhood to believe that I know I never really went abroad. So to me, like taking my children abroad is like a big thing that I want to do. I want them to see the world. And so yeah, holidays are quite a big thing. Maybe spoiling them, which maybe that isn't a good thing. Who knows?
Yeah, but listen, life is for enjoying as well, you know. And I think what a lot of people who are not in business or people who are driven don't understand is that actually it's okay to enjoy work as well. So when you're on holiday and you're sunbathing on a deck chair, but you've got your laptop out or you've got your phone out and you're doing some emails, it's actually not that stressful and you're quite enjoying it.
I think I'm at the happiest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm the same. And
Beer
people
in a
just don't get that,
sunbed
though.
and a couple of emails, and I'm like, life's complete. Which it shouldn't be, should it? But that's kind of like the best it can be. To be fair, change of scenery for me is really what I want.
Yeah.
Like quite often we'll go to Centre Parks. I'll work 3 hours a day. I can get a lot done in 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever it is. I can work around the children. I feel like I've had a holiday. My kids, I don't think really notice it. Maybe they do. Maybe at some point it will come out when they're older that Dad was rubbish because he worked on holiday. I don't know. But I need it for my own mental health as well.
Yeah.
Like I can't just do what, don't know. Can't give them everything.
That's, you know, for me personally, when you're out of environment, that's when you get the new ideas and the thoughts to how you can improve your business. Or
yeah, I like listening to books a lot.
Yeah,
so I love listening to books. I think I'll often walk the dog, listen to books, or listen to books, and it's dangerous, really.
What's your favourite book?
Favourite book? There's lots of them. The one I've enjoyed, which I'm surprised I enjoyed, was Diary of CEO.
Okay, yeah.
His latest book.
33 Laws, is it?
Yeah. Really enjoyed that. not sure why I shouldn't enjoy it, but it was better.
Joe, it's weird. A few people have said that. They feel like they shouldn't have enjoyed it, but they have done.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I really like his podcast as well,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't. I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of an underlying current there, but I think it's a great book. That really, really good book. I've actually listened to it 2 times this year,
Okay.
which I'm surprised at because I think it's probably anyone. Good to Great. That's a good book, isn't it?
I haven't listened to that one.
That's a good one. One of the ones I listened to, which actually I loved, or I've got to tell you this book, called Selling to Serve.
Okay.
I think it was called Selling to Serve, and it was on audio, Audible, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was only on there. It was the best book ever. For one reason and one reason over, it taught me about sales, and it taught me this line which I keep using to my sales team, and that is that my sales team always say I'm not a good salesperson, and in that book it says everyone is a salesperson. All you need to do is watch a toddler negotiate for a biscuit.
Yeah, it's a good line.
And I literally watched my kid. Like the other day, I watched her. She's 5 or whatever she is, and she wouldn't go to bed. And we said, first night, I said, if you don't go to bed, I'm going to take you to boarding school. She said, take me to boarding school. So I put her in the car. I thought, probably had too many beers here. I was on my drive, so I wasn't driving anywhere. I was sitting there thinking, I've had too many beers. I can't even drive around the block here to pretend that I'm taking her to boarding school. She goes, what boarding school are we going to, Dad?
Oh, no.
I'm like, she called me out on this. Anyway, that was the first night. Second night, same thing, wouldn't go to bed. So we said, if you don't go to bed, you're not going to have telly in the morning. And I could hear the negotiations as I was walking out. I was going to PT early that morning, and I could hear the negotiations with my wife as I was walking out. She said, daughter went to, if you've taken away something I love, if you've taken away something I love, I'm going to take something away you love. I'm going to take away the baby. So we've got a new baby.
Right.
So I was like, she's really going in quite heavy. Anyway, by the time I came back from the PT, I said to the PT, she's definitely going to be watching telly by the time I came back. Got back an hour later, the telly's on. I said to my wife, what happened here then? She went, I realised that not giving her the telly's the biggest punishment for me than it is her. I was like, yeah, she's manipulated you. But the kids are great. They know how to do it. They tantrum until they get what they want, and they are great salespeople. That book's worth reading.
Yeah, I'm going to add that to the list.
Good book.
What else do you do to learn or to grow and develop? Because you're quite big into that, aren't you?
Yeah, I think where I didn't do that, where I didn't really learn at school an awful lot, I feel like I've tried to cram it all in past. I think I hang around with lots of people that are inspiring people and teach you a lot. I mean, lots of the inspiring people probably aren't even entrepreneurs. Like I've got a lady in my team who's a really, really good communicator, and I listen to her communicating and I think, I wish I could do that. That's really good. Like, how have you kept so calm in this meeting and managed to beautifully explain something without losing your temper? Why can't I do that? So it's like I find people inspire me that, even that person at the coffee shop this morning, I was like, that's good. I don't know, just like learning from people, watching people. I'm quite a good observer.
Yeah.
Like, I like to hone in on things and watch.
I think
going around me.
that's a mindset thing, though, isn't it? Because you have to be then observing what's going on and taking them nuggets from people. I feel like a lot of people will breeze through life and not notice those kind of things.
Yeah, I agree. I would have given that girl at the coffee shop a job today.
So that was going to be my next question. So how do you find, you've mentioned staff a lot. You said you've got a lot of good players in your team. So what's your approach to hiring? How do you find good staff?
So it always used to be heavily service-based. So it's really weird. I didn't really care what they'd done or what they hadn't done. If they'd worked in a pub, or they'd worked in a newsagent, or they'd worked at McDonald's, I used to think they must be pretty good because they will have dealt with people, and people are hard to deal with. And actually, to be fair, typically that's one of the trickiest things about accountancy. I'd always be looking for people that have come from a service industry. It's changed a bit now. So as we've got bigger, we've needed to bring in bigger talent, skills that, you're hiring at a higher level. That's a bit trickier because typically that doesn't come with the service level background. And if you're hiring from a big corporate company,
It's tough.
they haven't, it's not as important to the big corporates because they're almost more matter of fact, do it that way, do it that way, do it that way, here's our bill. I'm trying to soften these people, and they're doing it. They're doing it, but I think our recruitment's tricky at the minute because we need to require we need to hire more corporate people.
Yeah,
but I don't want to drop our service part.
Yeah,
so it's getting trickier.
Yeah.
Short answer.
How will you navigate it? Is that a case of
Training.
improving the training? Yeah,
Training. It's got to be training, and I think it's got to be explaining why this is important because I think And the big corporates, a lot of the clients are faceless.
Mm.
So, you know, if you're doing the accounts for whoever, Uber or whatever it is, I'm just thinking of a big corporation, but if you're doing the accounts for Uber, for example, it's a corporation you're doing it for. It's a board level conversation. It is all quite matter of fact, quick, minuted, in, out, in, out.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for Mrs. Smith and her company that you've acted for 15 years, like, you know, Mrs. Smith's dog, you know, everything about Mrs. Smith, you've seen all her children and all of that. It can't be corporate. That's got to be, you know, like our clients are our friends. Like loads of our clients are in my phone book and I know who they are. And when I need something, I ring them up and I trust them to do it. Like, that's what I've always wanted. So, yeah, I think hiring corporate's tricky.
But I think something you just touched on, which is really important in business and in life, is explaining actually why it needs to be done. I think a lot of people assume that others understand what they want, and actually being able to communicate that effectively is a massive skill that really successful entrepreneurs have, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know if I'm successful really, but I feel like, yeah, I think it's important to communicate to your team why you're trying to get there. So, and not to tell them that they're going to be made redundant. That's awful communication. But in my head, that made sense because I knew where we were going. But the first sentence can't be that, apparently. So that's what I did wrong in that sentence.
Good job you got head of HR.
Yeah, she's a good communicator. So that's what you need.
Yeah. So what's the future for Pocknams? Where do you want to get to? What's the goals?
So, obviously, there's this 100 million that I've said, which I've said. It's in my bit of paper in my bag. I always walk around with my goals and where I'm going to get to. It's just a number. It's not real. It's just a number. I just want to achieve something that I didn't think was achievable. What I would love to do is I'd love to achieve... I honestly think there's a lot of people in my team that are proud to work where we are and have been there for a long time and probably never thought it would have got to where it's got to. Mm-hmm. And they often say, like, you know, we've done so well to get here. And I'm like, I don't think here's here. I think we're on a journey and we're not quite to where we've got to be. I'd like to become one of the biggest accountants in Essex. We probably are, but I'd like to all become the biggest.
Yeah. And how much more, where have you got to get to be that, do you think?
I don't know, 4 times the size, 3 times, 4 times the size, we'd be pretty close.
Achievable.
Really achievable.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we had an acquisition that was going to double us. It didn't happen, but we're not, it's doable. It's so doable. And when we look at the scale that we're marketing and growing by, it's really, really doable. Is that really what I want? I don't know. It might change, mightn't it? I mean, it's just a journey.
Yeah.
As long as I'm enjoying it, I'll do it. As long as my team are enjoying it, I'll promote it and go as hard as I can to achieve it for them, or for us, or for me, or for whoever it is I'm trying to achieve it for. I don't know who I'm trying to achieve it for.
Yeah, but what you just said is important, and we've mentioned this on so many of these episodes, is that you have to enjoy the journey. If you're not enjoying the journey, then what is the point?
I think, most nights I'll work to 11. I say I work, I love it. I don't watch telly, I don't want to watch telly. I want to, whatever it is, I want to tweak our website, or I want to mess about on a sales page, or I want to look at some data. My wife says I'm working, I think I'm relaxing, but that's not the same thing, is it? I don't want to stop that. So, if I sold it all tomorrow and I had enough money, which who knows if I did and I got enough money to retire, what would I do? I'd do something else. I wouldn't just sit there and watch Countdown, that's for sure.
You'd go mad.
I would literally go, mad. So, I don't know what the end goal is. I don't know what's in store for Pocknalls. I hope it's a great journey. I hope it gives lots of opportunities to my team. That is something I want to do. I want to get lots of people achieving lots. Yeah,
I'm sure it will be. We end this episode the same way, which you're not too prepared for, so I'm putting you in a spotlight here.
Good.
But we ask every guest to give 3 pieces of actionable advice to the listeners based upon their experience. Obviously, your experience is quite accountancy-based, business acquisition-based, so we could go more along the acquisition route if you like, but what would your 3 pieces of advice be to someone looking to buy a business, for example?
You just made that tricky. I was going to do business advice.
Okay, go business advice.
I think one of mine is be open and honest. I think I like to be open and honest with my team. I share all the data. I share where we want to get to. And I think then I get people who genuinely buy into that part. And I think that's important. So my first one would be open and honest. Second one would be budgets and forecasts. I think if you're not doing budgets and forecasts, you don't really know where you're going. And lots of people come to us and say, I've had a really, really good year, made 200 grand profit. If you're aiming for $1 million, that's a really crap year. And my third one would be, remember that if you're a business owner, the easiest thing to compound your wealth is business growth. The valuation growth of your business will compound quicker than any other asset you own, other than maybe crypto if you're really, really lucky. And not that I promote that at all, but business growth is literally, the compound on business growth is huge, and business owners need to remember that, and they need to be tracking it and working towards growing that.
So do you track the value of your business?
Yeah, I do my own net worth all the time. Really? I keep it every year because that's one of the things that when I'm looking at my scorecards and I'm trying to do gratitude to myself, which I'm awful at and I don't do. But when I'm feeling crap about myself, I'll look at that and I'll be like, yeah, you're not that bad.
Yeah, you've
done something this year, because quite often I'll be like, I haven't done anything this year.
Yeah, no, I feel that. But look, John, been amazing having you on. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
How can anyone sort of keep track of what you're doing?
Well, the website's at pocknells.co.uk. I'm on Instagram, I think. It's John Holliday or something.
I've seen you on there quite a bit
recently.
Me
on there, yeah. I think we're a bit on social. So, yeah, we're around. Come and have a chat.
YouTube as well?
Yeah, we've got Pocknells YouTube. Yeah, we've got all the gizmos and gadgets. That's the marketing
That's one that people need to check out. Is the
dinosaur one? Yeah,
Accountansaurus,
yeah, dressed up as a dinosaur.
Yeah, that was a good one. But no, look, really enjoyed having you on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Driven Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment to let us know what you found most insightful. But most importantly, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next episode.